My boss stole my idea and got promoted. 3 months later, I watched her clean out her office in tears. Sarah took credit for my AL project in front of the board last week. That same project got her fired when it crashed during the biggest demo of her career. I was in the conference room when it happened, best seat in the house. For 2 years, I'd been developing an AI customer service system on my own time, Sarah. My manager called it a cute side project whenever I mentioned it. She'd roll her eyes during team meetings when I gave updates. Everything changed when the CEO announced they were looking for innovation initiatives. Suddenly, Sarah was very interested in my little hobby. She scheduled meetings to understand the technical details. I was naive enough to think she wanted to help. I walked her through every line of code. Every algorithm explained my whole vision. The next Monday, I walked into an all-hands meeting to see Sarah presenting my project. My code on her slides, my flowcharts redrawn in corporate colors. She called it an initiative I've been overseeing. I sat there frozen as she fielded questions about implementation details she'd learned from me 3 days earlier. When the CEO asked about the development process, she said, "I prefer to work independently on complex projects." The board was impressed. She got promoted to Pream of Innovation that week. My name wasn't mentioned once. No proof Sarah had already submitted the project under her name. She even smiled at me in the elevator shikes. "For your input on the project, Proxi's helpful context." I almost quit. Instead, I did something better. See, when I taught Sarah the system, I kept one thing to myself. The failsafe I'd built in a simple authentication protocol tied to my personal credentials. Without it, the system would work fine in testing but catastrophically fail under real load. Sarah never knew it existed. Why would she? She'd never bothered to actually understand the code. For 3 months, I watched her build her entire pre-macutation on my project. She hired a team, got featured in tech blogs. The CEO called her the future of our company. Then came the big day, a live demo for our biggest potential client, $30 million contract on the line. The entire C-Clem's watching. Sarah stood at the podium, radiating confidence. "Let me show you the future of customer service." She initiated the system for 30 seconds. It worked perfectly. Then the authentication timeout hit. The crash was spectacular. Error messages flooding the screen, the client's test data corrupting in real time. Sarah frantically clicking, her face going from confusion to panic to absolute terror. "I don't understand," she kept saying. "This worked yesterday. It took their tech team 6 hours to figure out what happened." By then, the client had left. The CEO was furious. The board demanded answers. That's when they finally looked at the actual code. PySayers looked at it and found my name embedded in every core function. My digital signatures Sarah had been too lazy to remove. The investigation was quick. Sarah couldn't explain any of the technical decisions. Inspired fixed the simplest bugs. When they pulled the security footage of our brainstorming sessions, her theft became undeniable. I was in the break room when security escorted her out. She saw me through the glass, her eyes red and puffy. I raised my coffee mug in a small toast. The CEO called me personally to apologize, offered me Sarah's position. I turned it down. "I prefer to work independently on complex projects," I said. "I am starting my own e-company next month, where we have 3 developers from Sarah's team ready to join me." Heard out they knew all along whose work they were really implementing. Sarah's Plython now says seeking new opportunities. I noticed she removed innovation labor from her Bioschnei.